Good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everyone doing on this beautiful Friday, the end of the week? We made it. Oh, Lord, I thank God for just being God. God is so good. I thank God for just waking me up this morning, for starting me on my way, allowing me to see another day. Another day is always another opportunity to right your wrong. Is always another chance, another opportunity to get things right, to get back in alignment, to get back in position. So I thank God. He lets me know I'm not through with you. You're not a finished product. And if you woke up this morning, that also lets you know that you're not a finished product as well, that you have work to do, and God is still working on you. But with that being said, I am here to read the end of the week devotional, and it's a good one. How do you see yourself? How do you see yourself? Don't worry about how other people see you. Sometimes we know how to carry ourselves in a way where we gain certain influences. But when you go home at night, when there's no one there but you, how do you see yourself in raw form? How do you see yourself? What do you think about you? How do you feel about you? It's easy to look good. It's easy to put on the show, when you have an audience. But how do you feel about yourself when you look in that mirror and there's no one there? It's just you and that mirror. How do you see yourself? And the reference scripture can be found in Judges 6 and 15. Judges 6 and 15, and it reads as follows. Pardon me, my Lord, Gideon replied. But how can I save Israel? My clan is the weakest in Messiah, forgive me if I pronounce that wrong, and I am the least in my family. How many of you would just be honest and just say, you know what, in my family, they normally say the black sheep of the family. You're that one that is never called on. You're the one that's left out. You're the one, you're not in the know. You're the one you're not invited. You're not included. You're that one. You're the one that's looked over. You're the one that was misjudged. You're the one that was told you would never be anything, that you would never amount to anything, you would never go anywhere. You was that one. How do you see yourself? Do you see yourself by what you was told as a child? Do you view yourself by what others have said about you? How do you see yourself? I'm going to read this out of my study Bible. It said, I will be with you, God told Gideon, and God promised to give him strength he needed to overcome the oppositions. In spite of this clear promise for strength, Gideon made excuses. How many of us would just be honest? When God tells us to do something, we begin to tell God why we can't do it, why we can't perform it, why we can't show up. We begin to tell him things that he has already overcame. He has already gave us strength. He has already gave us the tools to do what he's called us to do. If he say go up and take the land, go up and take the land. If he told you to start the business, start the business. Whatever God has told you to do, just do it. Don't worry about who's going to support. Don't worry about who's not going to support, because you're going to have a combination of both. Don't worry about who's going to encourage you. Don't worry about who's not going to encourage you. You're going to have a combination of both. Seeing only his limitations and his weaknesses. Sometimes we stand on our weaknesses and our limitation. That's our crutch. That's our excuse. That's what we prop up on. But God is not here to accept or to hear our excuses, because he has already gave us everything that we need to carry out our assignment. We have everything we need. Everything is on board. All you need to do is tap into it. All you need to do is be willing to do what God is calling you to do. Don't tell him that you don't have excellent speech. You don't have to tell him that you don't have a degree. You don't have to tell him that you don't have a certificate. You don't have to tell him all those things. If he say go up and pursue, then all you need to do is trust him and go up and pursue. Listen. We got to stop trying to be like everybody else. We got to stop trying to do things how somebody else said they had to do it. We have to stop trying to rely on someone else's their walk, their path, their journey, what they did, how they had to do it, how much of it they had to have, what their credit score was. You're not them. You are not them. Just obey God and move how God is instructing you to move. That's all you need to do. Okay, seeing only his limitations and weaknesses, he failed to see how God could work through him. Sometimes we look at our weaknesses and our limitations and we begin to tell God, I don't even know how you can use me. I don't have this. I don't have that. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. How in the world can you use an individual with so many limitations? How can you use an individual that has so many weaknesses? I look at some people, and I'm just going to be transparent. I look at some people and I said, man, they so gifted. They so talented. They know how to do this. They know how to do that. They know how to put this together. They know how to put that together. I said, Lord, what line was I standing in when you was giving out gifts and talents? I know don't nobody want to be honest. Don't nobody want to say, you know what, Yolanda, I've said the same thing. I'm like, Lord, what line was I standing in? Lord have mercy. Sometimes I have to just laugh at myself. We are called to serve God in specific ways. How you serve him, it may not be the way that he's asking me to serve him, but just be obedient to the way that he is instructing you to serve him. Don't get so fixated on how I'm serving him, because you're going to miss what you're supposed to be doing. You're going to miss your assignment. God promised us strength and tools we need to, read my own writing, that we need. We often make excuses reminding God of our limitations. I just went over that. We quick to tell God, I can't do this. I don't have an excellent speech. I don't have a degree in that. Lord, I'm not popular. I don't have enough influence. I don't have the right last name. I don't live in the right neighborhood. I don't go to a private school. Lord, I'm not the ideal weight. I'm not the ideal color. My hair is not a certain length. Lord, I can't do that. I can't show up like that. But God is telling you, I need you to show up just like that. Just show up anyway. Whatever you lack, whatever you think you lack, trust me, if God told you to go, you got everything you need. You don't have to worry about it. Stop trying to look like everybody else and just show up how God told you to show up. And he was reminding him, we often remind God of our limitation and our weaknesses. That implies that we don't believe that God knows about us and that he have made a mistake. When we begin to point out our limitations and our weaknesses, you're telling God somewhere down the road you made a mistake. You gave them the gift and you should have gave it to me. You gave them the talent, but you should have gave it to me. God didn't make any mistakes. Whatever's in you is in you. Whatever you don't have is just not for you. Just enjoy the gift that someone else have. Enjoy the talent that someone else have. If you can't sing and you know someone that know how to sing, just enjoy it. Just allow that talent to be a blessing in your life. You don't have to sing. Just turn the radio and listen to somebody else sing. You know, so we just have to be thankful for what God has put in us. And oftentimes we get caught up in looking at what someone else is doing, how someone else is moving, what someone else got, how somebody else can move. And we discredited what God is doing in us. We discredited what God has put on the inside of us. We begin to minimize what God has put in us because we're so fixated on what someone else is doing, someone else's talent, someone else's gift. And we're saying, Lord, what about me? And so God wants us to be grateful this morning on who he has created us to be. You are enough. We are enough. I am enough. You know, I used to didn't always feel that way. I often felt like, Lord, I feel like you overlooked me, because why don't I desire to do this? Why don't I desire to do that? Why don't I desire to have this? Why don't I desire to have that? I began to ask God. I felt inadequate. I felt like so many things that I just didn't have, that I felt like that I needed to be accepted, to be approved, to be included. And God had to let me know you are enough. Everything that you need to be and to do what I've called you to do, you are enough. Everything is on board. So I come to encourage someone this morning that may be feeling lack. You may be feeling inadequate. You may be feeling that you're not enough. I come to tell you, you are enough. God said you are enough just the way you are. You don't have to try to pretend and be like anyone else. Just be who God called you to be and allow God to do what he's going to do in your life. Let me get into this read and I'm out of here. The way we see ourselves determine how far we will be able to go in life. You got to change how you see yourself. And whether or not we will be obedient to what God calls us to do. Get rid of the excuses. Change your language. God called Gideon to save Israel from their enemies, the Mennonites. But Gideon was sure that God had the wrong man. If God ever told you to do something, you start looking around like he got to be talking about somebody else. I know he ain't telling me to go and pursue. I know he didn't tell me to apply for that brick home. I know he didn't tell me to apply for that brand new car. Oh, I know he got that wrong. Oh, I don't even qualify for that. And God is saying, do it anyway. My Lord. He saw himself as small. Man, my Lord. My Lord. Not many people will be honest and say at some point in my life, I saw myself as small. I saw myself of no importance. Insignificant. That's how I saw myself. But I thank God that he has done a new thing in me, and I don't see myself how I used to see myself. I'm still a work in progress. I still have some things that I struggle with about myself. But I thank God that I see growth. I thank God that I see progress. So I'm grateful this morning. He saw himself as small, weak, and incapable. My Lord. All of this right here describes who I used to be. Small, weak, and incapable. Why? Because I began to look at what someone else was able to do. How someone else was able to do certain things. And it caused me to discredit myself. It caused me to disqualify myself. It caused me to sit on the sideline because I just didn't feel capable. I just didn't feel worthy. I just didn't feel like I was enough. I just didn't feel like that I mattered. And I still struggle in that area. I still struggle in that area. My God. The Lord assured Gideon that he would be with him and strike down the Midianites. But even then, Gideon had doubts. God would tell me to do something. I'm like, Lord, I just don't know if I can do that. I just don't know if I have the qualifications. I just don't know if I have the strength. I just don't know if I have the tools. I just don't know if I'm enough. I just don't know. And he said, do it anyway. And wanted God to give him a miraculous sign as proof that he would succeed. Sometimes I said, Lord, I need you. I need you to really show me that you are the one telling me to do this. Because I know I don't qualify. I know I don't. I know I'm not going to fit in. I know I'm not going to be included. I know I'm not going to be accepted. And he'll say, just do it anyway. Judges 6:17-36-40. Fear and doubt prevent us, like Gideon, from doing and being all that God has called. Okay, hold on. Let me start all over. Fear and doubt prevent us, like Gideon, from doing and being all that God has for us. Millions of people live far below the level at which they could live if they could simply see themselves as God sees them. And that's where my struggle is seeing myself how God sees me. When you begin to look at your childhood and you look at where you come from and you look at your mistakes, sometimes it's hard to see yourself how God sees you. But you have to understand God chose you in spite of everything that he already knew about you. He knew your shortcomings. He knew your strength. He knew your weaknesses. He knew you was going to be defiant. He knew you was going to be disobedient. He knew you was going to go down the wrong road. He knew you was going to go in the wrong direction. He knew all those things, but yet and still, he said, it's you. I called you to do that. I called you to that assignment. Why? Because I know you're going to stand. I know you're not going to compromise. I know you're going to stand if you have to stand all by yourself. But I called you anyway. God never calls anyone to do anything without giving them the ability and the strength they need to do it. You can do it. I come to tell you, you can do it. You can accomplish it. You can have it. You can possess it. He wants to work with and through his people. And our part is to surrender to his will, moving forward in faith that he will never fail us. God will never fail us. Never. We fail him, but he will never fail us. Never. Let me ask you, how do you see yourself when there's no one but you? When no one is cheering you on? When no one is patting you on the back? When no one's putting you on a pedestal? When no one has included you? When you just don't feel accepted? When you didn't get the promotion? When you didn't get the job? When you didn't get the loan? When you didn't get the house? When you didn't get the car? When you didn't get the husband? How do you see yourself in raw form? Do you see yourself? Do you truly, truly see yourself the way God sees you? It's easy to put on. It's easy to put on a mask. It's easy to appear strong. But are you really strong when it's just you? Are you really strong when you don't have the support? Are you really strong when no one encourages you? How do you see yourself? The devil wants to make you feel insignificant. I told you I've been there. I still fight that to this day. You say, Yolanda, being saved, you fight? Yes. I'm being transparent. I'm being real. I don't have time to fake it. I'm trying to make it. And I'm going to make it just being real, just being authentic. But the truth is that you have God's power in you and are capable of far more than you might imagine. I encourage you not to listen to fear and doubt, but instead let God guide you to great things. You have to allow him to lead you into the things that he has for you. Lean not to your own understanding. Don't look to the left or the right. Don't look at what someone else is doing. Don't look at how someone else is moving. Their journey is not your journey. Their path is not your path. Their direction is not your direction. When you start doing that, you won't appreciate what God is doing in you and what God is trying to do through you. Whatever talent someone else has and you feel like you don't have that talent, enjoy that talent. Take advantage of that talent. If you love, you can't sing, again, like I said, turn on the music and listen to someone sing. I look around and I said, Lord, I feel like you, I feel like you overlooked me when it came to some things. But I'm learning to just enjoy who God created me to be. And trying to be something more than what we was called to be, it can be overwhelming. It can cause a person to be disappointed. It can cause a person to be discouraged. But when you just learn to just be okay with who you are, when you begin to just love yourself in raw form, you are well on your way. I'm talking about me. I've been there where I just felt like I wasn't important. I wasn't, I know a lot of places I don't fit in. Sometimes I said, Lord, why am I like this? Why, but I thank God he's doing some things in me. He's trying to get me out of my comfort zone. But with that being said, this was beautiful. How do you see yourself? Not how others see you. Sometimes we get it twisted by looking at how someone else sees us, how someone else view us. But that's really not how we view ourselves. That's not how we see ourselves. So the question is this morning, take inventory. How do you see yourself? Without the applause, without the support, without the encouragement, without the plaque, without the promotion. How do you see yourself? Because there's going to be times where you're not going to get that. There's going to be times you're not going to get the support. There's going to be time the light is not going to be on you. How are you going to see yourself then? Because you got to be able to see yourself from that point of view in order to really, truly see who you are. How do you see yourself? Here's the prayer, and I'm out of here. Father, forgive me for all the times I have allowed fear and doubt to hinder me. From going forward in your will. I surrender to you, and with your help, I will walk by faith and trust you to bring victory. In Jesus' name, amen. That's a beautiful prayer, because I think so many of us, we have allowed fear, we have allowed doubt, we have allowed our past, we have allowed our mistakes, we have allowed our shortcomings to interfere into moving into the things that God has called us to do. But I just want to encourage someone on this morning. And you have to pray and you have to ask God, Lord, help me to see myself as you see me. Because sometimes all we see is our mistakes. All we see is the things that we didn't do wrong, all the things that we didn't do right. All we see is our failures. And it's hard to see ourselves as someone that God would use. So I come to encourage you this morning to just take a moment to sit with God and just ask him, Lord, show me who I am in you. I need to see how you see me. I need to understand how you see me so I can start seeing myself in that same manner. I know what I'm talking about. Like I said, I still have some struggles, but I thank God that I'm not where I started, and I'm still a work in progress. Because I look at my mistakes, I look at my past, I look at my shortcomings. And it's tough to move forward. But I know God is not through with me yet. And so I'm just trying to be obedient and do everything that he's calling me to do. I'm getting ready to hop off. Thanks for hopping on. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for coming all the way in the room. Thanks for allowing me to be transparent. Over here, you may see some tears. You may hear me laughing. You may hear a few jokes, but I'm going to be transparent. I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to be raw, and I'm going to be authentic. That's the only way I can come. So thanks for allowing me to just be me, allowing me to just be myself. But with that being said, speak life. Speak life over yourself, over your friends, over your foes, those that gave up on you. Those that pushed you aside, those that said that you'll never amount to anything. They said you'll never go anywhere. They said that your life will never change. Speak life over them as well. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. Until next time, everyone have an amazing day. Thanks for hopping on, Lisa. Thanks for hopping on, Sister Marianne. Thank God for you. And thank God for, I don't want to pronounce that name. I don't want to butcher it, but you know who you are. I thank God for you, and I thank God for those that didn't come all the way in the room. I understand some people just don't want you to know or anyone else to know that they are being affected by these devotionals. But I thank God for you as well. Y'all just keep me in your prayers as I will do the same for you. Have a blessed day and an awesome weekend.